people on Reddit kept asking me about some guy named Boris. Apparently, you coached him at Henzo's, and he was a legend, and he was terrifyingly good. What made him a legend? Who's this Boris character?
Boris is one of my early students. I think he was either my first or second black belt. Boris came from Long Island. He was a wrestler. He was of Russian Jewish descent and highly intelligent.
Yes.
And now he was short of stature, but very powerfully built and compact. Very nice, polite young man, but also slightly eccentric, which I always liked about him. He would always come dressed with glasses on, and he would leave the gym dressed like, to use the American phrase, a complete nerd, with like his pocket protector, and he now he was heavily muscled, but he would dress in such a way that he didn't appear so when he left. And we always used to laugh, like, you imagine some guy tried to mug Boris. They would see him with his nerdy glasses on, his pocket protector, and they would literally run into like one of the most formidable human beings in the entire New York area. Boris started training jiu-jitsu, I believe, in Long Island, and then when he got a tech job in Manhattan, started training with us in a morning class. Now, these were relatively early days in Manhattan and my teaching career. And he and a group of others, a very small group, used to train early in the morning, around 6 a.m. before work. And Boris was a legend in those days. Now, a very young George St. Pierre came to train with us at that time, and he would come in at 6 a.m. to do his morning class. And he was one of the main training partners for Boris. And Boris, being a wrestler, used to generally prefer top position. And I would always encourage George to play bottom position. I'd say, you got to get good in bottom position. You never know. I know you're good at takedowns, but one day someone's going to put you down. So you got to work bottom position. And Boris had very strong guard passing. I remember one of George's happiest days is finally, after like 2 years, one day he swept Boris, got on top and finished him. And I remember that was one of his biggest thrills in all of his training career.
Was the last time that ever happened. Boris.
No, Boris was he was a very formidable man for that time. The funny thing about Boris is every time we would have a conversation, he would say, "I'm only going to do this sport until I'm 40 years old, and then I'm going to stop." And I was like, why? Like, why not be like a lifelong martial artist? You know, you got so good. You're good at jiu-jitsu. You got great skills. You've worked hard. Why not just keep going? He's like, it's ridiculous for a man to train after 40. There's no need. And you could never give any reason for this. It was just ridiculous. One day, now this is a guy who came in literally every day, 6 a.m. every day. One day, he comes up to me at the end of training, he goes, "Hey, John, I just turned 40, so I won't be seeing you again." And I thought, he's joking. So I'm like, "I'll see you tomorrow, Boris." He's like, "No, you won't," and walks off.
How gangster is that?
And then he never came back. I've never seen Boris since. He came in, was one of the best grapplers I ever saw, and just said, "That's it, buddy, I'm out." And to this day,
no one to walk away.
Yeah.